Hi everyone, this is Cassie and welcome to This Budget Life. I'm so happy that you are here. I'm a brand new channel and I'm very excited to film yet another video for you today. Today I am doing something a little bit different because I wanted to take some time and film some videos for people who are on a tight budget. Being on a tight budget is the reason why I came to this budgeting community, why I came to a cash envelope system. And being a part of this community also means having a lot of fun, meeting a lot of people, and getting a lot of new ideas for how you want to approach your budgeting. However, there's something about watching all of these videos and getting so much inspiration that sometimes it can start to feel a little overwhelming watching lots of different cash stuffings, seeing lots of different envelopes, wanting to be able to participate in all of the fun things, mainly savings challenges. But if you're on a tight budget, it can feel like there's no wiggle room. There is no place in your budget to withdraw extra money to participate in some type of savings event, savings challenge, savings binder, etc. So I'm here today to talk about ways that people on a low income budget, on a tight budget, can still participate in some type of savings challenge, build up your savings, even if you think that there is no room and no space in your budget to do so. So what you see here, this kind of seems like a lot. And I can tell you that each one of these items is not necessary for you to begin some type of savings challenge if you're on low income or a tight budget. None of these things are necessary. And I really wanted to break it down for people and bring us back to some type of focus, bring us back to some kind of center before we start getting, overwhelmed with all the cute, fun things that the budgeting community can offer us. So the first thing that I want everybody to remember about doing some type of savings challenge while you're on a tight budget. You want to participate in all of these cool challenges. You want to have the really cool trackers. But the first thing that you should be thinking about before you begin selecting the trackers that you want to buy on Etsy is number one, finding or remembering your why. Finding or remembering your why. For me, I had my son earlier this year, and that really put things into focus. A lot of my priorities shifted when my son came about because I started realizing that I don't ever want to be caught not being able to provide for him. And I feel like there's a lot of parents out there who feel that way. Maybe you are saving up for college. Maybe you're saving up for a down payment in a house, or maybe you're trying to move out on your own for the first time and you're trying to get all the money that you need to get an apartment or to get a condo. Maybe you're saving up for a car. What is your why? Why are you saving up for these things? Get back to the root of why you are saving for these things. Because step number two, what that's going to do is help you figure out your priorities. Once you can remember your why, you're going to be able to figure out your priorities and what is really important to you when you're trying to save. Ask yourself the why before you start figuring out your priorities. And I think that's going to help bring a lot of people back into focus. Step away from the trackers, step away from the Etsy shops for just a second. Remember your why and ask yourself, what are your priorities? And then, of course, then you can start looking at all the fun things that are out there. If that's what you want to do, if you'd rather just do pen and paper, that's also fine. Clearly, I like fun looking items. But the number 3 tip that I have before you start on any kinds of savings challenges is to start simple. And I think if you have your priorities written down somewhere, if you have your priorities in line, that'll really help you be able to start simple, because you're not trying to save for 10 things. Maybe you're trying to save for 3 things. Or maybe you're trying to use 3 separate savings challenges to save up for 1 important thing. So start simple. And I think for those of us who are on tight budgets or some type of low income, I think that'll be really helpful for all of us as we start to navigate the other things that the budgeting community can offer. So with all that out of the way first, now that you've refocused on what you want to be saving for, I want to show you my plans for 2022. Just because these things say 2022 doesn't mean that I haven't already started right now. All right, so the first thing that I want to share, this is my savings cash binder. This is where I'm putting different savings envelopes, different savings challenges that I have decided to participate in. This is a Filofax original binder, and I've repurposed this from when I used to plan in these 6-ring planners. Okay, so I've got a couple of different challenges that I am pursuing. One of them is the 52-week challenge. I've got the $5 challenge on here. One of my priorities is to get 1 month ahead on my bills, so that's a special envelope I have in here. I have an emergency fund envelope. I have one for myself, one for my husband, one for moving expenses, one for business expenses, one for extra debt. So the way that I've organized all of the envelopes in this binder is I've kind of put my priorities in front. I've put the 52-week challenge in the front, I put the $5 challenge in the front, and I put the 1 month ahead challenge in the front. And then all the other stuff, I just kind of put back here. So my next goal would probably be my emergency fund, but you can see that my particular envelope, my husband's particular envelope, I don't have these listed as any kind of specific priority. So this is where I plan to put my money. And let's go ahead and flip this open. This is my big savings binder. Can we fit everything in here? Okay, let's go like that. So let's flip to the back before I get to all the stuff in the front, right? All right. Now, I did make these trackers myself. I decided, I didn't have the extra money to be able to purchase some of these savings trackers on Etsy. I wanted some type of fun visual tracker. I think for me, I really respond positively to this kind of like visual stimulation and just something fun that I get to do as like a little bit of a reward to myself once I've put that particular amount in there. So I was originally going to do the 52-week challenge when the new year started, but I decided I was going to start this one early. I was going to start this one now. Yeah, I made this one up and I printed it out, punched 3 holes in it, and put it in this binder. Then I made this particular tracker as a way to build up. I titled it Sinking Funds just so that way I could keep it kind of generic, and I put a category. So my category for this particular sheet is my 1 month ahead binder. This is a very, very priority goal of mine. I feel like this would give me a really big safety net. I calculated out my goal for what my bills would be if I were able to get 1 month ahead. And then I just kind of divided it up in all the different lines. I think I kind of filled this out wrong. So I colored in the bottom. When I get to $128, then I'm going to color in this portion. and then $256 I'm going to color in this portion. And I'm just going to see it grow. So I made this particular printout for myself, punched a hole in it, put it in this fun binder. And then I also made my third and final tracker. I titled it Rainy Day Fun, but this is where I'm going to keep track of my $5 challenge. Anytime I put $5 in that envelope, I'm going to color in a nice little raindrop. By the end of this, I should have $125 in that envelope. And once I do, then I'm going to figure out where I want that $125 to go. So that's what I did for my particular savings trackers. Again, I repurposed my binder. I printed out trackers on my own. I didn't spend any money on this. You know, I had markers lying around, so those were things that I already had. I purchased this fun binder right here because it caught my eye. And as far as my tracking labels, if you haven't seen, these are my envelope labels. I purchased these from Jordan Budget's Etsy shop. I'm sure you've heard of her, but I'm a huge supporter of her channel. I'm a huge supporter of her journey. And I really wanted to make a purchase and support her financially as well, while I could. So that's what I ended up doing. So that way I could support someone in the budget community, and I got her labels. I have a couple other sets of her labels as well. Now, at the front, this is something that I'm kind of considering a stretch goal and plan for myself. I am super new to the budgeting community, but I have been using the Budget Mom and her workbook for the past year. But this is the first time I'm actually going to commit and use her cash savings envelopes. And I think the missing piece was the fact that I wasn't using the cash envelopes. So this is a very particular challenge that I have for myself. I enrolled in her 2022 savings challenges. When you enroll in her savings challenges, it comes with the booklet of materials and all of the new monthly savings challenges, and it comes with all of the fun little envelopes. I can't really show you all of the materials because you have to pay for all of the materials, and she specifically asks that because you pay for it, you don't distribute her materials without her permission, obviously. But there's 12 different savings challenges. She has a savings tracker so you can record how much you've saved each month. She also gives you a little certificate for when you complete it. That'd be fun. And she's got just different themed challenges throughout the year. So I did want to share some ideas with you about some savings challenges that you could do while you're on a tight budget. And I think one of the biggest tips that I have been following, because I can't specifically put a line item in my variable spending or in my budget for 20 different savings challenges. Part of the challenge for me is to find the money for the savings challenges in cash that I've already put in my envelopes. For instance, this past week, I budgeted $25 for gas, and I had the $25 in my cash envelope already. Then when I was at the pump, I realized this is a holiday week in the United States. My office is going to be virtual for the entire week. So where am I driving to? I decided to only put 20 of those dollars into my gas tank and kept that extra $5 for my $5 challenge. I didn't pull anything extra out. I just decided to repurpose something that was in my budget. Or maybe you have rollover funds from one of your cash envelopes. You can use some of your rollover funds to then go ahead and stuff your savings envelopes. So that was one of the biggest tips that I ever received, and I want to pass it along to everybody else, that I want to find the savings from the cash that I've already pulled out instead of making other specific transactions if I don't have the wiggle room. Some weeks, I already started budgeting, a little pre-planning for, the month of December because of the holidays. There's going to be some weeks that are super tight and I cannot deviate at all. But I still want to feel like I'm making progress on my savings goals, because that is, one of my priorities. That is one of the points that that is something that I'm really trying to do and build up for myself. Going back to my why, making sure my son has some savings, making sure I have savings, so that way my son is taken care of. One of these challenges that you could do, so I did the $5 challenge, but maybe you're on a tighter budget than myself. You can also do a $1 challenge. There's honestly so many different ways you can modify a budget or a savings challenge to accommodate what you have to spend. So you can modify the savings challenge to do a $1 challenge. The other one that I really like that is giving me a lot of motivation, let me flip back up into it, is this 52-week challenge. I just think this is so incredible that by the end of it, you're going to have over $1,000 saved, and all you're doing each week is just increasing the amount of money that you're putting in that envelope by $1. You can jump ahead and fill out this challenge faster, and I do think some people do that. But if you really can't, setting a 52-week challenge, setting a 26-week challenge, so that's half of the year if you don't want to go for a whole year, starting simple. And like I said, for my $5 challenge envelope, as soon as I hit that $125 mark, I'm going to print off a new tracker. So I could either start a new challenge or just continue with this one, whatever works for me. Modify these things for your budget. And I think people who are on tight budgets are actually really good at that sort of thing. The last one that I have is my change jar. I think you'll see a lot of people with different change jars, but this is something that I am very passionate about, of just collecting your spare change, because sometimes you just never know how much is in your change jar. And everything from this change jar is going to be extra going into my son's savings at the end of the year. So I'm already, making plans for what I can do to build up his particular savings. But anything that I find in spare change, that's going to go straight to him. Anything that I find extra in one of these trackers, that's going to go to him, because he is my why. He is the reason why I'm doing all of these savings challenges. So the last thing that I want to leave everybody with, let's get the big binder out of the way. That's just like really big. If y'all could hear me right now, I mean, I just like dropped that big change jar. So anyways, it's cool. We're fine. The last thing that I want to leave with you is just remembering that all of these budgeting channels, all of your favorites, all of the people that you watch started somewhere. Some of them may even have started in the same exact boat, in the same exact position that you're in, whatever your financial situation is. Everybody started somewhere. Now, I watched a video recently posted by Naturally Lizzie, and I'll go ahead and link that particular video below because I am totally going to butcher the quote, but she shared a quote with everybody recently just about, you're never going to regret starting today. Something along those lines, and that really resonated with me, and that's also what really prompted me to make this video for everyone. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this is something that you took some value in, you took some inspiration from, and it was a lot of fun for me to share all of these things with you. Thank you again so much for joining me. Like I said, I'm really brand new to this whole budgeting YouTube community. I'm really excited to be a part of it and want to get to know everybody. So if you've made it this far, comment down below and let me know, what is your why? What is your why? Why are you doing all of these savings challenges? What are you saving for? Why are you saving? I want to know, what is your why if you've made it this far. Thank you so much for joining me once again, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.